Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy podcast, presented to you by DSM Media, as well as your host, myself, Slim. You can follow me on X at R2R301111 for the other host here, Scotty John. And as you can see by the title today, Trae Young has been traded to the Washington Wizards. First trade of the season, might I add. And some recent news that dropped, Ja Morant name is floating around on the trade block. But before we dive into those great topics, my brother, it's a special time of the year. Different rumors start speculating things like that. But how you feeling on this Good Friday, my
I'm
brother?
feeling good, bro. Happy Friday to you as well, my man. And yeah, we getting into the trade. I looked up the trade deadline the other day right before our show, and I was surprised to see it was February 5th. For some
Me
reason in
too.
my mind, maybe it's the 8th or the 5th, one or the other, but for some reason in my mind, I thought it was at the end of February. But no, I looked it up before our last show earlier this week, and sure enough, that shit is coming in just about two or so weeks. So we'll probably start seeing more and more moves, more and more rumors as the weeks go on. And hey, yeah, I don't know if you just mentioned it. I may have missed it, but a potential guest next week, which should be fun to
Mhm.
ultimately discuss this trade further. But
Yep.
no, I'm just excited to continue to grow with the pod, brother. Happy Friday, my man.
Yes, sir, for sure. So straight off the dome, my brother, let's talk about it. Trey
Yes,
Young
sir.
has been traded to the Washington Wizards. Stop right there. What's your initial thoughts on that move?
Uh Not surprised, I would say. He ended up making that his primary place that he wanted to get to. There was rumors once Trae Young was made available by Atlanta that uh the Wizards would be participating and trying to get him over there. I would say this. I was surprised by how low of value he brought back. And what I mean by that is two. Would you call them throwaway pieces for the Atlanta Hawks in return when you're talking about CJ McCollum? I know CJ McCollum leading the Wizards in scoring this year, right? But is that really what you want to bring back? Like, I imagine he's going to get flipped for another piece. So all in all, man, my instant reaction on the pod here, I would say I was not surprised that he was traded to the Wizards. I
Mhm.
was surprised what he was traded for.
Okay, yeah.
And that's my instant thoughts for you. What about you, my man?
Honestly, like it did take me a minute to kind of process why would he want to go to Washington. But the only thing I kind of put together is just maybe he still want to be that guy on the team. Because if he were to get traded to a contender like, let's
That's a
just say
good point.
Minnesota, any other team, he wouldn't necessarily be that guy on that team. You always alluded to this, maybe like a third option at best
Yeah,
on a championship caliber
yeah,
team. But him being like the number one option on the championship caliber team was kind of dead, honestly. So him going down there to Washington, it's honestly not the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, you do start to wonder, like, okay, he is a vet now. He'll be 30 pretty soon. And when you look at the timeline, it's a lot of youth down there. I'm talking about
yeah,
for the most part, all those guys are like under 25 for sure. So I'm saying is like, do it really make sense for him to go there? But in the end, he got what he wanted. Washington was his top trade destination, and nonetheless, they got it done the other
yeah,
night. So
yeah.
yeah,
And I think there was some like prior connections that he had to Washington as well. I think it was like the guy that drafted him in Atlanta is now in Washington, so they ended up making that work as well, reconnecting. But I'm with you. You raise a good point. Like, why would Washington kind of accelerate their timeline to an extent, right? And I don't know, it's give or take. You give up CJ McCollum, who's old, you still got like Chris Middleton there and stuff. But the thing with Trae Young, I was looking it up, bro, and he does have a max contract. Like maybe not max at this point, like for this said, but he did have a max extension with Atlanta. And so you do have a max star player on your roster now. So I'm just interested to kind of see where they go from here. I mentioned this to you before the show. I just got to watch the Wizards the other night play against the Sixers. I mentioned to you in the offseason, Trae Johnson. I'm a big fan of him.
yeah,
He
he
can really
nice.
score the rock. Um, Koulibaly, the French guard, he can defend,
He
rebound. He does like
defended.
all the small things. You got Keyshawn George, which is he a guard or is he a wing? You can move him out to a wing, so maybe that's not fair to throw him in. But Bub Carrington, Cam Whitmore, you just got a plethora of young guards there to be specific. So, like, where do you think they go with all these guards from here, bro? Like, if you had to guess.
I think in a year or two, you could probably see them making like a trade to kind of get rid of that log jam at the guard position because we
Yeah.
just talked about it off the air. Like when you bring in a guy like Trae, it's different from CJ. At this point of CJ career, like you can honestly play him or not play him. Whereas
Yeah.
to Trae, like he's definitely looking to get out there, get some burn and things of that
Lead the
nature. So,
team. Yeah.
so you just cannot just not play him and think it's okay. So you definitely got to make room for him. So I'm saying I can definitely see one of those guys on the way out for sure. Unfortunately, it definitely sucks because Washington was lucky kind of finding a rhythm for real. Like Trey Johnson, he's been on a little heater.
Yeah.
Bub Carrington been better. And so like when you see these young guys start to gel together and then you make a move like that, you start to wonder would it help or would it hurt? From a confidence standpoint, because one of those guys' minutes are definitely going to get cut. You just
Yeah.
don't know who.
And when I look at the situation, I hate to say it, who does Trae Young's skill sets overlap with? It's either Trae Johnson or Bub Carrington, right? Like one of those guys are losing minutes with Trae Young in the picture. And so that's what worries me because out of all of them, I think Coulibaly, I don't know, he presents something different, but I think that would be the guy that I would like value the least of those three guards that we mentioned that were already on the team. And it's no disrespect to him. I think he's a quality player. But I like the other guys' games a lot more, but I think they overlap with Trae Young a lot more than what his do. So
Yeah,
that'll be interesting too.
that's true. I think Coulibaly, you have to kind of play him though, because he's one of your best wing defenders on that team.
Exactly. Yeah,
You cannot just not play him. It really won't make sense for real. So
I agree.
then they just gotta like make the hard decision. Like all the point guards can't play. It is what it is. But that's the good thing about it though, Scotty. Trade deadline is nowhere near. We still got like 3 weeks.
Still got time.
We still got time for them to, figure it out.
No,
So.
I did want to throw something to you. Well, do you have anything else on the Trae Young move?
Honestly, though, I mean, he made his wish and it got granted. So it got granted.
Something I was looking at from Atlanta's side, I mentioned, maybe CJ McCollum's a piece you flip on to another team for another trade. Same thing with Corey Kispert. I don't know where he fits in with Atlanta. He is a good spot up shooter, so maybe they will keep him. I'm not sure. He's a solid player.
Yeah, he can shoot.
I did hear they were looking at Anthony Davis and looking at trying to make a big swing for him after trading Trae Young. Then you get the news today, of course, that Anthony Davis is injured again. Was it a hand injury?
Yeah, hand injury. Yep.
You got right? Yeah.
His left hand sustained ligament damage in his left hand.
And did I hear, because Anthony Davis, I think he's a piece on a team that in the West that's not going to win a championship this year. He's a piece that would be very valuable at the trade deadline. Were the Warriors looking at him too? Am I remembering that correctly? Did y'all ever take a look at him, or were you?
Yeah, well, they say Dallas reached out to us about, trade him.
So maybe he wanted that.
Maybe he liked what he seen.
But I did hear the Raptors as well were in the mix. But you don't trade for him now, right?
Nah, not right now. Not right now. Unless you looking, ahead for next season, then yeah, sure,
Right. And I don't think the Hawks are doing that right now. I think
I feel like
maybe the Raptors, maybe.
Yeah, with the Hawks though, I think like Kristaps on a 1-year deal, so it wouldn't be the worst thing for them to trade for AD.
Yeah, because Kristaps would probably be involved in that.
Yeah, he would definitely be involved going back to Dallas. Yeah. But with Dallas want that though, that's
right. Right. They
got rid of him for a reason, They sent him to Washington.
So what? You would probably have to put KP, CJ. I think would just have to be in it for financials, and you would have to give up something of value. Though.
They said Luke Kennard too, and like some draft capital or something.
Okay, Luke Kennard and draft capital. That sounds about right, though. AD's he's older.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's a solid package. That's why I hit you up last night. I was like, CJ McCollum getting passed around like a blunt.
No, I
Yeah,
laughed out loud when you said that one. I haven't heard that shit in so long, bro.
yeah, he getting passed around, bro.
But
For sure.
no, you any other thoughts on AD before we move on?
No, not really. I mean, they starting to give him the nickname Street Clothes now. So, maybe he can kind of, have us looking at him different. But for now, we're gonna call him Street Clothes.
Fair
Yeah,
enough, bro. Fair enough. We've all, well, not we've all. I've been there with Embiid, so I can't make too much
fair
fun of
enough. Fair enough.
it. What else we
Uh,
got before we get out of here, bro?
oh man, on the mini pod today to close this thing out, we got Ja Morant, bro. Breaking news: the Memphis Grizzlies will be taking phone calls on the two-time NBA All-Star Ja Morant.
Mm.
What are your initial thoughts on that, man?
I won't lie to you, and I sent this to you before the show. My initial thought here was, did the Wizards mess up by not waiting around for Ja Morant to become available? But then I thought about it. You got Trae Young for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. You're not getting Ja Morant for that, so it is completely different value, different timeline. But no, I was I don't want to use the term surprise, man, but I guess for me it was just a weird time to decide to trade Ja Morant now. I feel like maybe the offseason they could have made that decision when you decided to, move on from Desmond Bane. I think in the same breath, if you're going to move on from Ja, are you not going to move on from Jaren Jackson Jr.? Because they're on basically the same timeline for my money. But I do wonder, like, what is the perfect fit for Ja? Because it's not just the on the court fit, right? It's not the players
Mhm.
around him, it's also the off the court fit as well, and just keeping him out of trouble. And not to say that that's like I'm not trying to get into all of that, but
Mhm.
what happens when you get into that off the court stuff, and now you
Yeah.
got to watch out for that. And
Yeah.
so I think that's going to be the thought process for a lot of teams that are looking into trading for him is, how are we going to keep him locked in on hoops and on the
Mm.
growth of the team?
Yeah.
But I'll throw it back to you. What are your thoughts here? Because I know you're down there in the like Memphis area, like the trench.
Yeah.
You're with them. So I don't know if you get to talk to the fans at all, like at times or what. But what is the vibe down there with Ja Morant? Like, is it just moving on like to a new era, or is it just like a soul Ja Morant type of thing?
Yeah, I think it's more so it's the end of an era, some would say. They just said 12 ain't the same no more.
Mm,
I think he may have reached his ceiling. Like if you think about it, like the 21-22 season, that year he really put not only himself but the whole city of Memphis back on the map. He just went on a crazy run. All star that year, career highs on coach charts. Just for doing like spectacular things. And they
yeah,
was winning. We all thought that Memphis was honestly going to be the next team that had it. But as years progressed, it was the complete opposite. But so I'm saying that when you look at somebody like Ja, you know, um, his game, man, like just sort of regressed in a sense. His jumper is still iffy. He don't have a midi or a three ball that's consistent.
yeah,
And so, like when you look at for a guy like that to be your franchise player, every year you look for them to kind of elevate their game as well as others around them. And
yeah,
so far, it just hasn't been there. Maybe you go back, start the year off, you seen what he said about the head coach or something. They wasn't on the same page. So that
yeah,
kind of lets you know right then and there that Memphis was probably looking to head into a different direction to begin with. They just was looking for the perfect time. They seen Trae Young get moved, and yeah, man, I think it is the end of an era for Ja. It could be a good thing for both sides though. Ja
yeah,
put in his work in the city of Memphis, and Memphis held him down during a tough time. When he was dealing with the guns and all this stuff. So
yeah, yeah.
it's just probably best for both sides to move on at this point.
No, I think that's actually a great point that you make, and it does. I'm just looking at Ja's numbers because you said he doesn't have a reliable 3-point shot. He doesn't have a reliable midi. I do agree with you, and it was funny because I had this picture in my head that he was like getting better, right? Like I thought maybe he was picking up steam a little bit when I got to watch him a few weeks ago against the Sixers. He had like a season high, right? It was 40 plus. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he was just making everything around the rim. There was no mid-range. There was no 3 points involved. He's actually bricking all night from the 3-point line. You were relieved to see him take a 3-point shot. And then I go and look at his numbers, man. He's shooting 20% from the 3-point line this season. That's the lowest in his career. He's shooting 40% from the field this season. That's the lowest in his career. He's averaging the lowest amount of rebounds in his career. He's averaging the second most turnovers per game in his career. So what I'm getting at is it doesn't seem like Ja is bought in anymore either, to your point, right? Just as much as the organization may be ready to move on, it probably is best for both sides where he can go and find somewhere else to compete, reinvest himself, reinvent himself, and go from there. But to your point, he's got to find a jump shot, man. It's not impossible. I watched Tyrese Maxey be regarded as a guy that could not shoot coming out of college. Second year in the NBA, he's 40% three-point shooter. All it takes is the work, bro. Like, it can happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at De'Aaron Fox. You see,
great point. Yeah.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox he was not always a shooter. Now his midi is so pure. Like, he come off the screen, stop on the dime, pull up midi, get straight to it. You know?
Yeah.
Man, just imagine somebody like Ja had a midi coming off the screen. You got to pick your poison. He can either stop on he can either stop on a dime or just get straight to the rim every time. So it's definitely possible. You just got to be willing to put the work in.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. What about this one?
Came off the bench yesterday against Indiana. Yeah.
Hit 7. He had like 7+ threes in the game, though. I did see that as well. Like off the bench, he went kind of crazy from the 3-point line.
So keep your eyes on this situation. LaMelo Ball.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Who do you think has the most value out of those three players? And maybe it's just Ja and LaMelo we're comparing. I don't know where you rank Trae Young amongst them, but
most value, wow.
Like trade value.
Trade value. I think Ja. I think he has the most out of those three.
Yeah. I can see that. I think LaMelo has. Is it fair to say he has the most talent, like left to, like untapped, or I don't know if I'm phrasing that the right way. How old is
Melo like 24, something like that.
So he's a couple years younger than those guys. Yeah, he's 24. Josh 26. Trae's what, 29? So yeah, you can take.
Yeah, Trae close to 30.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that old, man. That actually makes sense for what he was traded for.
Yeah, I think he did. Did he do 4 years at Oklahoma, or was he just one and done?
No, he probably did. I feel like he's not built to do one and done, but I could be wrong. He was an electric scorer in college. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was nice in college for sure.
But his size, I feel like he wouldn't have been able to do one and done with his size. Like he needed that 4 years. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I had to do my research on that, but I think I had to wait to see if Ja gets traded before I answer that question, because he only been on one team his whole career, same with LaMelo, and who knows if he were to go to a new team, probably playing with different swagger for real, just more locked in. So yeah.
You want your Warriors to go after any of them?
I'm good on that.
Good on all of them?
Yeah, I'm good. They wouldn't help us right now, man. Another guard on our team is the least of our problems.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Is there an influx of guards in the NBA? That's a question for another day. But it just seems like every team. I'm just thinking about the Sixers right now. That's all.
You think Ja gets traded over the weekend?
Ja?
Mm-hmm.
The way the Trae Young shit broke out, like the rumor one day, the rumor of where he wants to go the next day, and then traded the third day. Maybe by Monday, bro. Like seriously, like
the thing
time for the NFL shit to calm down over the weekend, and then the trade will be released once it can get proper steam.
But see, that's the thing though. Ja didn't come out and say that he wanted. Memphis came out and said that they're open to.
So maybe there's no rush in that case.
Today, another report came out that they said they're perfectly fine with keeping him a part of the core. So
interesting.
It could be nothing. It could be like a smoke screen for real. You never know. But
is there any team that you would like to see make a move for a Ja Morant?
yeah, I like to see Minnesota go out there and get him. Him and Ant.
Yeah,
I think him and Ant in the backcourt would do wonders for real.
dogs. Yeah, they would be some dogs in that backcourt. I do feel that. The other team I thought of, I don't know if they would be able to make it work, like financially, whatever. Houston. I don't
Yeah,
know. A little bit
that
of
was,
overlap with him and Amon Thompson in
yeah.
their
See
skill set, though.
that's my thing right there. I don't know how that would work because they not shooters. You gonna need shooting to come play all the time. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Scratch that one. I like the T Wolves, though. I
I
do like
think
them.
Minnesota should be. Yeah, they should be the top team for him for sure if you want to, try
Because
to
who's
compete.
the his name is slipping my mind on the bench. The guard that's
Reed
fell out
Shepard.
of no,
Oh,
in Minnesota.
Rob Dillingham. Rob Dillingham.
Rob Dillingham, yeah, include him in that package, right? And
Yeah.
then you
Mike
have to add
Conley,
some pieces, but
Dante.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you can keep Randall. You keep all those guys.
that would make the West so interesting, bro. That would be good for basketball for sure. I like that.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Before we get up out of here, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the Galaxy Pod.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, it is 44 people watching on X. Make sure you guys tap in, go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and we'll try to be back here again next week for sure. Trade deadline will not disappoint. We're like 3 weeks away.
Mm.
And as you can see, we got the week news constantly dropping. So I'm saying that we get into the fun part of the year for sure. But yeah, that's all for me and my co-host. And with that being said, we out. Peace.
Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday, Slim. And
Yes, sir.
yes, hit that link in the replies on Twitter if you're watching over there on
Yes,
X.
sir.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.